souls, transforming worlds to a better wonder to behold. No poverty, zero hunger for the elderly or younger. Good health and well-being, good education, empowering women to become sensation. Clean water, sanitation is a right of every nation. Economic growth inclusive and sustained through industry innovation and purely dedication. Yeah, infrastructure be gain, reduce inequality for sure. Make human settlements secure. Take urgent actions to combat climate change. Conserve life below water and land. Ensure we do not estrange. Justice for all the peaceful and empathetic nations. Let us all partner to achieve these goals and provide much needed salvation. Each one teach 10, no compensation. Each one teach 10, no.
Hello everyone, welcome back. A very good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, kerimed, terve, and maraban. This is Namya, Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 106 of the podcast, Each One Teach 10, an amazing world of STEM, an inspiring venture where we'll be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, we have a special guest who is shaping the future of digital transformation, Aleksi Kopponen. He is a leading expert in human-centric AI and digital transformation, currently serving as the Director of Digital Transformation at the City of Tampere, with a deep background in government strategy, entrepreneurship, and research. He has played a crucial role in Finland's national AI policies, including the AuroraAI program. He's also a sought after keynote speaker and advisor, helping organizations turn innovation into meaningful change. Well, today we are going to dive into AI's impact on societies, the challenges and the opportunities it brings, and what it means for the future. Well, Alexi, before we get into the details of AI and its impact, we would love to know how are you doing today and a little bit more about you and the work that you do.
Yeah, first of all, Namia, thanks a lot for invitation and inviting me to your podcast. So I'm very happy to have this conversation. Yeah, and greetings from sunny Finland. So now we are heading to the summer time. Let's see when it comes back. Now we are heading back a little bit frosty days ahead of us, but still everything is okay. And now basically I'm overwhelmed about everything that goes around AI nowadays. So that is something that drives me in these days, both in my daily basis and as well as in my working life.
I totally agree. And you talked about Finland going to summer transition. Well, I believe the forests and especially the national park are really beautiful to walk around. Like I've been to the Pyhähäki National Park. It's amazing seeing the berries and walking around dandelions. So yeah, I think it's amazing weather there. And yes, of course, the importance of AI and how it is impacting our lives in every single way. So can we start by you sharing a bit about your journey in the digital transformation and AI, and what exactly sparked your interest in this field?
Yeah, that's a great question. Since we have to go back like maybe 20 years or so. Back then, we didn't talk too much about AI. It was like machine learning and machine vision, what I was expert and what I was studied back then. And the AI itself just popped up like in Finland, let's say in 2017 maybe. And after that, everything has been like AI everywhere. And before that, I was drilled down into modern technologies in machine vision as well as web technologies and some modern tech that transforms enterprise software solutions towards the modern applications and mobile applications. And after 2015, I jumped into the Ministry of Finance, and where we basically started working with the digital transformation of our society and pushing that forward. Of course, in Finland, it has been going on for the decades already, but still the pace basically found its new let's say a gear to push everything forward and in a multidisciplinary way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. You talked about, how like it's been a very fascinating, journey with AI, and you've been tracing it back to nearly 2 decades when machine learning and machine vision first began to take shape. And your deep dive into AI took a significant turn in 2017 when it became quite popular in Finland. And the technology began gaining very widespread attention. And since then, you've been actively involved in exploring and implementing AI across various industries, including finance, like you rightly said, where AI is, reshaping traditional methods and introducing innovative solutions. So it's truly inspiring to see such dedication and foresight in harnessing the power of AI to drive a meaningful change. Thank you for sharing that. So, one of your major contribution has been in shaping national digital strategies like the AuroraAI program. Could you tell us about the vision behind it and how it has evolved over time?
Yeah, well, actually, if we put the background in some sort of a story, we have to go back to the maybe 4 or 5 different governmental programs, and each of these governmental programs has been built the digital journey for Finland. There has been like numerous of initiatives that has been built our digital infrastructure for different layers. And of course, one of the biggest key competitive edges in Finland are trust and the registers. So basically, in Finland, we have built like digital registers for decades, and those registers basically supports us to make the actual change. Then the digital infrastructure has been built for the last, let's say, 3 or 4 governmental programs. And with the help of those advantages, we could have been pushed this AI journey much forward. We had the Prime Minister Sipilä's governmental program starting from 2015, and after that, the goal of the governmental program was to push, let's say, customer-centric applications and customer-centric public governance forward. But actually, what we figured out was the customer centricity itself was a challenge, since I have to put this in a context. So what is public governance in general? So in Finland, we have like nowadays, let's say 3 layers within our governments. We have like the governmental wide public services that are under the different ministries, and there are like state agencies that are responsible of their own agendas, own mandates and own resources. Then we have like welfare counties that are responsible of the healthcare services. Then we have the municipalities here, and the challenge when it comes to customer centricity is that each of these organizations are providing their own particular services. So we ended up figuring out the approach that we should change it towards the human centricity. So basically, we try to understand who our people basically are within our society and how we dilute the cake and the challenges from people's perspective. So that ended up us to consider the life events of people's different situations, where we need different kind of services from different sectors, not just from public governance, but also private sector or third sector services. Whatever those services bring value to the people, those services should be handled in a more comprehensive way from people's perspective. So that ends up us to the systemical change. So basically our whole society has been built, and our whole legislation has been built around the idea that each of these particular organizations try their own agenda. But now in this human centricity and human centric era, we try to figure out that how we actually manage to build our society from people's perspective. And that's why the human centric approach requires the life event approach that basically helps us to gather like this different approach for people's lives. And that was something that we built between 2015 until 2018 maybe. So 3 years was like a idea generation of how we approach this challenge. And at the same time, this AI was something that pushed us forward, and we had lots of pressure from the politicians to figure out that how we should apply artificial intelligence in our society. So we basically combined these two ideas to the systemic change of human centricity and life event approach towards the appliances of different kind of solutions where we utilize AI technologies. So that ended up to preliminary phase of the AuroraAI program. And within the preliminary phase, we had actually 3 different live events we studied. So these 3 live events was just some examples of people's life events in our society to understand more deeply of what kind of service provision people need within those situations in their lives. And what we figured out also is that we have to know much more better of who our people are in order to apply those services for those chosen persons. So that was something that popped up the digital twin idea of the citizens. So better understanding of what kind of data characterizes our people's situations. And at the same time, we needed the understanding of the services, of what kind of services we actually have. And the AI was basically just a support technology that combines these different kind of services for different kind of persons that we have characterized through the data. And we had like numerous of pilots back then, and then we understood that okay, we have to have a program to start actually building this. And as a program, we had like 2 streams that we built. First of all, the technology itself. So we figured out that okay, we have to have some sort of a network that supports this combination and building these like cross-sectoral service ecosystems. But also we had to support the systemic change, as I mentioned, about coming from customer centricity to human centricity. So the second part of the stream was something that I was responsible of, and the technological perspective was the other part. So there was like 4 key components that we started building from the technological perspective. So it was like the profile management was one part of that. So basically, as I mentioned, that we have to understand what kind of person or profile is handled towards the services. And the services themselves was basically, in Finland, we already had the service catalog mandated by law. So there was like each of the public services available back then. Then we needed, let's say, a recommendation engine. Basically, it was some sort of technology that tried to optimize the services towards the profiles. And the 4th component was Aurora API. It was like a connector and agreements, technical and semantical agreements between the services, and those core components define the AuroraAI network. And what we ended up until the program ended, that we as a society wasn't like ready enough to build that kind of network yet. So let's see what happens in the next coming years. But now we are concentrating in Finland, building like these live event approaches for chosen ecosystems. For example, imminent death is just an example where we are now building like a chosen live event package, let's say that, and making sure that we are diluting the cake and solving the cake through particular cases. So that is something that we built like last let's say 6 or 7 years.
Wow, that's actually really, really amazing and appreciable. Like you delved into one of the most impactful like contributions. You talked about like how you've been able to shape Finland's national digital strategies with a special focus on the visionary Aurora AI program. You've discussed like how 4 to 5 government major initiatives laid to the groundwork for Finland's advanced digital infrastructure, including the establishment of registers online, becoming a global benchmark for innovation. While the initial vision was to create customer-centric services, the real challenge was laying into integrating these siloed approaches of different organizations. So, the basic thing was to focus upon pushing boundaries of AI and ushering into a new era of human centricity. And that's when you talked about Aurora AI in the preliminary phase. The program aimed to better understand people's life events and anticipate the kind of services that they might need, grounded in deep understanding of who they are. And of course, you focused on the 4 key aspects like profile management, services, recommendations, and the Aurora API. So by combining AI with systematic change, Aurora AI has enabled smarter, more supportive digital services and has fostered a society where technology genuinely is able to serve people. So it's very inspiring to witness such a bold and thoughtful approach to a nationwide transformation. So kudos to you for that. That's a really amazing idea and amazing examples that you shared as well. So absolutely, and we know that AI is transforming various sectors. So from your perspective, what are some key areas where AI is making a meaningful impact on public services, governance, or be it daily life?
Yeah, well, I have to say it would be easier to say some areas that AI doesn't doesn't bring new value. So I cannot recall what kind of areas that those would be. So basically, uh, let put this as in a context. So if we go back like let's say 5 or 6 decades, we were very much in an analog societies all over the world. And after that, when the IT information technology appeared and the internet appeared, we ended up to pushing our societies towards the digital societies. So we try to understand that, okay, now we can basically digitize the data from the books, from the paper registers, and that pushed us as one of the most advanced societies, as I'm talking about the Finland, as we already had the data that we digitized, and we had the most matured society that we could implement these new digital ideas. But now we are heading to the age of AI, and this is totally different paradigm related with the digital era. So let's say that uh, the next generations, already living generations, are like digital native generation. But we are in the next 1 or 2 decades seeing the first AI native generations. And so basically we will be seeing in the next 1 or 2 decades AI native societies. So we are before that we are seeing like AI native governance, we are seeing AI native cities, we are seeing like AI native organization parts, and that is something that we have to start from. and if we try to figure out the public services in the age of AI, it's basically, you can take any part of the society, for example, like medical analysis. It's like the ever lasting area of, you can basically detect sign of diseases, be proactive for earlier diagnosis. We are going to personalized treatment plans. You are seeing like traffic signal optimization, basically adjusting traffic light timings in real time. Smart grid energy management, forecasting energy demand and supply. For example, here now we are actually calculating the cost of the energy per 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes has their own like cost pricing. Personalized learning platforms, adapting educational content and pace to individual student needs and learning style. So this is like a Pandora's box that we have opened. And it is not just like generative AI. It's also every other areas of AI within machine learning. It's classification, it's extraction, analytical, detecting anomalies, simulating stuff. There is like a data-driven policy impact modeling when it comes to daily life. Everything that we have been used to call for the government, that is something that we are not going to do in the future. We are having like a natural language discussions with the technology. So I argue that in the next few decades, we are not needing like a keypads anymore. So QWERTY keypads in European in Europe and Western countries is something that we will be losing less or more. Of course, we need it somewhere, but still these kind of natural discussions with the public governance through technology will be changing basically everything. Voice assistants, robo advisors, providing like automated algorithmic driven financial planning. So basically everything changes, and everything will be based on the probabilistic era. So basically AI is all about probabilistic technology, not more like, it's not like deterministic. It's more like adjusting your life and optimize your life for the better of yourself in a context where you are living. And that is basically converging. This technology is converging to everything. It's not just about the public services itself or per se. It's also like our living environment. Like every IoT platforms will be giving cities like senses. So cities will be having like better understanding of what kind of people there are, what are the traffic in general, where are people moving, is there something that we should be proactively taking care, for example, fraud detection or crime detection. So like everything is converging with the AI. And I argue that societies around the world are not ready for this change. Also, our legislation are not ready. We as a society in Finland are part of European Union. So legislation and directives comes also widely from the European Union. So we have to figure out our continent's challenges together, as well as with the partners from Asia and Northern and Southern America and etc. So this is like a joint venture, joint journey for each of us, for all of us, and making sure that this really brings value for each of different kind of societies globally. I believe that the societies will vary also because of the, not just for the legislation, but also how the rule-based governance is made. So we have like different governance and governments globally. There is like very authoritarian governments, there are democratic governments, there are like very different kind of approaches to govern societies, and how the AI and technology are adapted where everything is converged. So very interesting times ahead.
I agree, and like the way you project your thoughts as well, I believe they're very interesting. Like you paint a compelling picture of how we have come so far, like where and also where we're headed, reflecting on the revolution from the analog to digital societies over the past 5 to 6 decades. You also noted how Finland stands as a front runner in this transformation, and I cannot agree more on that. Because as we step into the age of AI, today's generation are not only the natives of the digital world, but also we are gradually becoming part of the AI natives as well. So AI is no longer confined to only a mere number of applications, it's everywhere. From revolutionizing public services, like you mentioned about medical diagnostics and personalized treatment plans, to optimizing the traffic systems, energy management in real time, technology, and of course, making the service is more smarter and responsive. In education as well, it's enabling deeply personal learning experiences for both the teachers and the students. And like you said, it's like opening a Pandora box full of potential, complexity, and promise. So it's truly exciting to envision the future through the lens of innovation and thoughtful observation, where different societies, will work together. Doesn't matter what kind of government is part of the rule, but we all have to be working together and focus upon how AI can be incorporated. Though it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, but I think when people work together in harmony, amazing things can happen. Right. So, well, coming to upon my next question, I have a fun question to ask you. Mikä on lemppitapasi rentoutua pitkän päivän jälkeen?
Sorry, can you ask it again? It was so good pronouncing.
Okay. Mikä on lemppitapasi rentoutua pitkän päivän jälkeen?
Great, thanks a lot. So basically, for the other audience, Namya asked that what is my way to relax after the long day, working day, and the answer for that is actually ice swimming. So basically, I go to the lake, which isn't anymore frozen, but it's quite cold. So basically, I try to go to the sauna. Actually, the sauna in those areas are warmed plus 100 degrees. It's like plus 100 to 120 degrees. And after that, you go to the frozen lake, which basically is like between 0 to 1 degrees or so, and enjoy the contrast and just sit like seeing the silent area of City of Tampere. So that might be the best way to enjoy. Just stay put and think something else than works.
Absolutely. I myself have tried swimming in Finnish lakes. They're absolutely amazing. Like I'm usually scared of, swimming in except anything like the swimming pool because I'm scared of the aquatic animals. But I think I really relaxed myself when I was swimming in the lake. And, enjoying sauna, you actually feel like the entire, the stress of the day, or if you've done a lot of work, you can relax yourself and then you can have a good sleep and then start fresh on the next day. I totally agree.
Totally.
So anyone who visits Finland should, of course, try swimming in the lake, and of course, sauna is a must. Truly, thank you so much for sharing that. Absolutely. Right. So moving on to my next question. So Finland is recognized as a global leader in digitalization. What policies or initiatives have set Finland apart from other countries in terms of ethical AI, public engagement, and of course, transforming digitally?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this question is very hard to answer. So I just can can elaborate that somehow. So first of all, you have to consider the trust within your society. So key question is that how is the trust between the citizens and the government or the governance? So in Finland, Finland ranks maybe top 1 or top 3 among the countries when it comes to trust between the citizens and the governance. So also one of the reasons for that is that we have been basically very responsible of when we are pushing any kind of new innovations forward. We are very transparent, we are very open, we have to make sure that everybody stays on the board, making sure that no one is left behind. So one of the key advantages when it comes to pushing digital transformation forward in Finland is that. So it's basically the trust between the government and the citizens. But of course, you need to have legislation. So legislation is something that basically set the rules for pushing the transformation forward. And it's paradox that it's the same time pushing the digitalization forward, but also challenging the systemic change to happen. So as I mentioned about the responsibilities of each of the organizations in public governance, they have their own responsibilities, but also legislation basically restricts public governance to do other stuff than the legislation provides to do. So basically, if you take that into account, the way to push the human centricity is very challenging, since you cannot step out of your responsibilities to do some else, even though that brings new and fresh value for the citizens. So that's why you have to make compromises and make sure that every of these responsibilities are combined together, and make sure that each of those public organizations who has responsibilities of different chosen tasks are on board when pushing stuff together. Also, we have to have like Information Management Act on top to make sure that the data can be actually connected together. And we have had like numerous of challenges like last decade or so to make sure that the legislation actually supports the multidisciplinary way to connect the dots between the public organizations and private entities for the better of the citizens. But I argue that Finland has been one of the forerunners when it comes to information management in general. That is also legislation, but that is also like directing through information in general. So how we adapt to the new possibilities. Also, as I mentioned, Finland is part of the European Union. So we are an active partner in European Union to make sure that Europe as a whole pushes forward the digital agenda. So we have to make sure that not just societal legislation, but also the European Union directives and legislation supports the digital transformation forward. But still, there is like there has been challenges. For example, autonomous decision making, as I mentioned about the trust between within our society. We have to also understand that there are also lots of people who have different kind of expectations towards these novel technologies. So we have to provide also time to figure out how we wish to adapt into these technologies as a society. So why we do that is because we have to maintain the trust within our society. If we lose the trust, building trust again is very hard, if possible. So that's why I believe the biggest advantage for Finland is the cross-sectoral collaboration. And as you know, we are, from the perspective of population, we are quite small country. There is like 5.6 million inhabitants in our society. So it's not too hard to connect the dots when it comes to connecting people all together. And hopefully in the future we are tackling more and more the legislation hurdles when it comes to autonomous decision making, adapting AI into different areas of those sectors that we have been already discussed.
Absolutely. Like one of the comments in the chat says by Miss Monica Joshi, trust is the must, truly. And like you rightly talked about, how Finland stands out as a global leader in digitalization, emphasizing the nation's strong foundation of trust between the cities and the governments. And like you said, ranking among the top 3 globally in responsible and transparent practices digitally, it has set a remarkable example for everybody to see, like how it's ensuring that everyone remains involved and informed through this transformational journey digitally. And you highlighted the critical role of legislation, not just to guide the process, but also to prevent unnecessary actions and uphold ethical standards. Although advancing human-centric, digitalization can be challenging and requires tough compromises, countries should push forward with clarity and intent. And the pioneering work in information management, supported by frameworks like any information management act, it can be a thoughtful policy that can bridge the gap between the public and private sectors. And like you rightly mentioned, as a part of the EU, Finland also contributes to Europe's broader digital agenda, that it's not just in the country but in the entire European Union, showing how that while time is needed to balance diverse needs, steadfast commitment and collaboration can pave all the way for meaningful and inclusive transformation. And I think it's going to inspire different nations to focus and find balance between innovation and integrity. So thank you so much for sharing that. Amazing. We've been having a lot of comments in the chat, so let's quickly go through them. I love the name AuroraAI. It reminds me of the beautiful northern lights of Finland. Absolutely.
Great.
I've missed seeing them. Like I've been to Finland twice, but 3 of the times I couldn't see. Maybe sometimes in the future, I'd love to see the northern lights, because that's a treat to the eyes.
Yeah.
I truly endorse the human-centric approach, as mentioned by Mr. Aleksi, providing the thought of productive blend of human and artificial intelligence. It's a win-win way. Appreciable. Finnish language is just. I agree. Suomi on kaunis maa.
Se on aina kiva kuulla. Kiitoksia paljon.
Kiitos. Amazing. Thank you so much for the amazing ideas that you shared today. And we've had an incredible conversation. So before we close, we would love to know where the audience watching this live can find you online. And one final key thought or message you'd like to leave our audience with.
Yeah, great. So where you can find me, for example, on LinkedIn. LinkedIn from professional point of view is maybe the best place to find me. Also, I'm somewhat active on X platform. X has also the Grok AI. So Grok is something that I occasionally use. So that is something that if you wish to connect me or have a discussion, dialogue with me, it would be also okay from that point of view. Maybe that those were the best place to connect me. Also, I'm doing, as I mentioned, and as you mentioned about my PhD work. So I'm doing my doctoral dissertation in Aalto University School of Business. So from a scientific perspective, you are most welcome to connect me from of course on LinkedIn as well. But if there is any particular questions regarding those scientific background, I'm very happy to have a discussions with those as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aleksi. And ending today's discussion, I think when trust, transparency, and technology come together with a human-centric vision, digital transformation becomes not just a progress, but a shared purpose. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today. And thank you for taking out your time to come on the podcast and share amazing insights and ideas with the audience. It was lovely talking to you today.
Thank you, and thanks again for the invitation.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining and listening to this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each one, each 10. Have a nice day.